Hello, my friends. This is Payman Motahede, president of Freedom Law School. And in this presentation, I will show you the key to restoring honesty in government in America. Whether it's your local city, county, state, or the federal government, we have too much government and too often corrupt government. You will see the solution of, by, and for we the people in this presentation, and I'll do a follow-up parts coming up also. So it's going to be broken up, but it's going to be very exciting for you because you're going to feel so empowered because the topic of grand juries is something that most people do not know hardly anything about. Now, although freedomlawschool.org is a website, Freedom Law School, which I normally talk about, this is jurypower.org. The website, I have more information about grand juries, jurypower.org. So let's get on with this exciting topic. A grand jury, as Britannica, dictionary tells us, is an Anglo-American law group that examines accusations against persons charged with a crime. And if the evidence warrants, makes formal charges on which the accused person are later tried. Okay? Through the grand jury, laypersons participate in bringing suspects to trial. Okay. That's a nice little short overview, but I want to give you guys more. Here's Wikipedia about grand juries, okay? It tells us that the grand jurors in the United States are groups of citizens empowered by the United States federal or state law to conduct legal proceedings, chiefly investigating potential criminal conduct, okay, and determining whether criminal charges should be brought. It's the same thing, okay? However, a little bit more added here. Like the jury system as a whole, grand juries originate in England and spread throughout the colonies of the British Empire as part of the English common law system. Today, the United States is one of only two jurisdictions, two countries, okay, on earth, okay, along with Liberia in Africa, that continues to use the grand jury to screen criminal indictments. That's right. Most of the world doesn't have any such thing. It's very unique, basically, to America. One of the things that makes America so special is the jury system, and grand jury and regular trial or petit jury are the two halves of the jury system. Okay? Let's go on. Wikipedia tells us more information that the federal government is required to use grand juries for all felonies, which are serious crimes, though not misdemeanors, which are minor crimes, by the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution, and all states can use them, but only half actually do. Okay, so half of the states in America do have a grand jury system, about half do not have one anymore, sadly. Okay, because for different reasons. About history of it, here's a little bit more background. In the early decades of the United States, grand juries played a major role in public matters. In the late 18th century, colonial, civil, criminal, and grand juries played major roles in checking the power of the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Oh, I bet you didn't know that, did you? Yeah, that's pretty major power they had, okay, checking the power of executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Okay, so you see now where it's going. This is a much more powerful institution than you realized until now. The American grand jury was also indispensable to the American Revolution by challenging the crown, the king, and the Parliament of England, including by indicting British soldiers. That's right. King's soldiers were indicted, accused of crimes, okay, and refusing to indict people who criticized the crown, the King of England, okay, opposing boycotts, and called for support of the war after the Declaration of Independence. Wow! Pretty serious powers they've exercised. And I'll tell you again, they still have those awesome powers today if they know about it. which they don't. And it's my job and your job to educate ourselves and share it with our fellow Americans who one day may be potential grand jurors. Okay? Here is more. Any citizen could bring the matter before the grand jury directly from a public work that needed repair to delinquent conduct of a public official to complain of a crime, and grand jurors could conduct their own investigations. Now, check out this language. It sounds like a past tense, like they could do that, suggests that maybe they can not do that anymore. Oh no, they still have those powers. They just don't teach it to us in the public school system, in government schools. We don't know about these things. I searched this up almost 30 years ago and put the Jury Power website with this information like this on there to educate American people about the power we have to clean up government, delinquent conduct of public officials to complain of a crime, especially by government officials. So here's a little bit more historical background on this from the constitution.congress.gov. The Fifth Amendment, which I read to you earlier, says no person, meaning by federal government, shall be held to answer for capital, otherwise infamous crime, unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury. Okay? That's the Fifth Amendment part that you guys heard about is there. Okay? And it also tells us that grand jurors were selected from the body of the people. That's right, among the people, and their work was not hampered by original or procedural or evidential rules. In fact, grand jurors could act on their own knowledge and were free to make their presentments or indictments on such information as they deemed satisfactory. That's right. Grand jurors could act on their own knowledge. Guess what? They still do. They're not dependent on the judge or the government prosecutor, U.S. attorney, or district attorney. They are independent of all of them, as you shall see some more on this topic. Okay. Now, and the grand jury acquired an independence in England and freed from control by the crown and judges. Yep. Its adoption of our Constitution was as a sole method for preferring charges in serious criminal cases shows the high place it held as an instrument of justice. It really does. The forgotten grand jury is very important to justice in our American system of law, which is unique and the best on earth. Okay? So here we go on the federal grand jury, a little bit more at congress.gov. Tells us that as a sword of justice enjoys virtually unfettered power to secretly investigate the mere possibility that federal laws may have been broken, okay, yet it remains a potential shield, for it must give its approval before anyone may be brought to trial unwillingly for a serious federal crime. And again, in the background, this is a refresher. The grand jury dates back to centuries, to William the Conqueror, way back, about 1,000 years ago in England. And now, here's interesting language that you use here in this Congress.gov. The attorney for the government will ordinarily arrange for the appearance of witnesses before the grand jury, will suggest the order in which they should be called, and will take part in questioning them. The grand jury most often returns to the prosecutor for legal advice and to draft most indictments, which grand jury returns. Now, reading this, you assume that's the way it works. It has to be this way? No. Look at the terms. It's not always. It says the government will ordinarily arrange for appearance of witnesses. Not always, only ordinarily. So it's not necessary for the attorney for government to arrange appearance of witnesses. The grand jury can and does act on its own if it knows they can do that, okay? Also, and the government lawyer will suggest the order in which they should be called the witnesses. Not require or dictate, but suggest. At the end, it's the grand jury's choice to have the order of the witnesses, okay? And the grand jury, most often, that's the key again, most often, but not always, turns to the prosecutor for legal advice. They don't have to. They can get the legal advice from anywhere they want on their own or not, or reject the government lawyer's advice if they want to. Now, and then most indictments, the government lawyer draft most of the complaint indictments. Again, most, but not all. The grand jury in itself can write out the indictment. Okay, charge someone with a crime. They don't need the government lawyer at all. They just the system there for you. In case you want to use it, it's totally up to grand jury. Grand jury is the boss. Remember that. Okay, let's go on now to this case. Okay, United States versus John Williams. Okay, this is from a U.S. Supreme Court. This case was in 1992, and Justice Scalia wrote the majority opinion of this case. Okay, and it's very, very good. It tells you so much about grand juries that are dead on right. You'll love this thing. Okay, okay. It starts saying that because the grand jury is an institution separate from the court, separate, it is not a part of the court. Therefore, court has no power over it. Think about that. Okay? Over whose function the courts do not preside, right? We think it's clear that as a general matter, at least, no such supervisory judicial authority exists, and that the disclosure rule applied here exceeded the circuit for authority. Anyhow, the bottom line is, it is not a part of the judiciary, and the judiciary has no such supervisory authority over the grand jury. That is the key thing for you guys to take home from that. Is completely independent of the courts, okay? And again, they talk about the fact that it's rooted in long centuries of Anglo-American history, right? This is now well known if you don't think about grand juries. And grand jury belongs to no branch of the institutional governments, serving as a kind of buffer or referee between the government and the people. Wow! It belongs neither to the executive branch, legislative branch, or the judicial branch. Practically a fourth branch of the government is the jury system. Okay? And again, although the grand jury normally operates, of course, in the courthouse and under judicial auspices, its institutional relationship with the judicial branch has traditionally been, so to speak, at arm's length. That's right, separate, at arm's length. Okay? Again, this is all reminding everybody the grand jury is a separate, independent of the judges and the government, period. The prosecutors, they don't have no power over the grand jury either. Okay? We're not taught about these things in the school system. And even in this setting, however, we have insisted that the grand jury will remain free to pursue its investigations unhindered by external influence or supervision by anybody, even the government lawyers, government prosecutors, U.S. attorney, the district attorney. Okay? So long as it does not trench upon the legitimate rights of any witness that is called before it. That's all. Okay? So it's unhindered by or influence, or even influence, or supervision by any government or authority whatsoever. What holds the grand jurors back from exercising all this is their ignorance. They don't know. That's the problem we have to solve by you studying this stuff and you sharing with everybody you know to take back America, as I'll tell you more in coming up now. Let's go next. The grand jury's functional independence from the judicial branch is evident both in the scope of its power to investigate criminal wrongdoings and in the manner in which that power is exercised. That's right. It's just completely independent of government, authorities of any kind. And here is more. The grand jury can investigate merely on suspicion that the law is being violated, or even because it wants assurance that it is not. That's right. They can investigate anything and anybody that they want. Okay? The grand jury, again, requires no authorization from its constituting court to initiate an investigation. Again, the grand jury can investigate anybody or anything they want, of course, within their jurisdiction, which is the county or the federal district they sit in. Okay? And in its day-to-day functioning, the grand jury generally operates without the interference of a presiding judge. Again, this is kind of repetition, but Justice Scalia wanted to make sure you know grand jury is a whole different, separate institution. Okay? Has its own powers, awesome powers, that goes back over 1,000 years in English common law tradition America still has. And recognizing this tradition of independence, we have said that the Fifth Amendment constitutional guarantees presupposes an investigative body acting independently of either prosecuting attorney or the judge. Boom, there it is. You see it for yourself. Supreme Court says what? That the grand jury operates, right, independently of either the prosecuting attorney or the judge. Right? Take that to the bank, everybody. Because that's how the system works. We just didn't know that you use so the problem is that Americans are not taught about this in a public school system. When they call them for grand jury, they just sit there like, I don't know what to do here. I'm impressed by the big building and formality and the power and government and the law and the judge and government prosecutor. I don't know what's going on here, what to do. I was not taught anything about this when I went to school, so I'll just listen and do whatever the judge or government lawyer guides me, because I know nothing from nothing. And that's the problem. If the grand jurors knew their power and their duty and independence, they would not be mere handmaids of the government prosecutors, which they unfortunately most often these days are. Okay? And we could clean up government, because they could turn around, indict the government prosecutor, indict the judge, indict anybody, even the President of the United States. As you see, they've done that, right? Investigate anybody. No one's above the law before the grand jury to indict, right? Let's go a little bit further on that. Okay. Requiring the prosecutor to present exculpatory. Okay, that doesn't matter. This one. Okay, let's go to this one. Now, here it is, folks. The place to go is jurypower.org for more education on this topic. That's right. I put all this stuff together in 1997 to educate Americans about the power of grand juries. They can and should investigate corruption government first, if they knew they had such awesome powers. They just don't know. Okay? So, in this presentation, my key thing was to let you guys know that the grand juries do have that power. And basically, you have every right, every duty to contact the grand jurors and tell them about the crime committed by anybody on the street or corrupt government officials. That's right. It's all guaranteed by your First Amendment right to free speech, to associate, to assemble, to publish, and most importantly, petition the government for redress of your grievances. That's right. You believe the government official is corrupt, you have the right to petition the grand jury. Say, hey, look at this grand jury. Look what they're doing. Okay? And stop them. Now, no one's suggesting you anybody lie to the grand jury. You should always tell the truth. If you call before the grand jury, you can and should answer the question granted Truthfully, absolutely. No question about that. Don't lie. That's a crime. You can go to prison for lying under oath, which is called perjury. However, that does not stop you from presenting additional or better information about government crimes. In the part 2, I will give you examples of how I try to do those things myself, and I almost succeeded in getting grand juries to indict corrupt government officials. So in part 2, I'll cover those examples and what you can do a little bit more concretely. We can actually get these guys, get these crooks, okay? But for right now, I just want you to know the website for education is jurypower.org, okay? And when you go to jurypower.org, let me make this a little bit small so you guys see it, okay? Here on the Grand Jury Power, you see several articles. Right now, everything's pretty much here, okay? On the Grand Jury Power thing. But I'm going to put more stuff on this website. Check on it. I'm going to improve on this website as time goes on, okay? And there's several articles on there all these months. I'm going to bring a little bit of them up there. And when I wrote this, I wrote it in California, based on California law, trying to go after a couple of crooked California judges. That's what led me to this whole quest. So I'm going to read a little bit for you guys from these, what I did back there, okay? So here we go. Let me see. Let me get to here part. Okay, there's several. Okay, here's a California case of People versus Coleman in 1948. Okay, the court said one of the statutory duties of the district attorney, the government prosecutor, is to draw indictments, attend before and give advice to the grand jury whenever cases are presented to it for their consideration. However, there is no requirement, however, that it is the duty of the grand jury to request or accept that advice. Wow, that's right. Again, this is well-recognized principles of law. The grand jury is independent. They don't have to request or even accept the government prosecutor's advice at all. Okay? So there's so much in these good articles. I'm going to educate you more about all this. Grand juries have indicted judges. Here, People versus Hardeman in 1966 and People versus Martin. Okay? Two cases where the grand juries indicted judges for conspiracy to obstruct and pervert justice. Oh, boy. That's going to be one of the most common crimes that corrupt government officials do. They conspire together to obstruct or pervert justice, don't they? Yeah. So, grand jury can come in and clean up, indict the government prosecutor, the judge, legislators, and his crooks acting together. It's a grand jury's job to accuse them, put them before a jury trial to stop all these crooks from what they're doing. Okay? So go to jurypower.org, folks, our website, okay, and educate yourself further on these issues. But remember, next week, I'll give you the good, juicy stuff. The best stuff, how I actually put this stuff to use, how I tried to do it. I got almost there. And how we can do it now, especially if you're a Freedom Law School student. That's right. Especially, or if not, you can be just someone go through our 7 steps to free yourself of the IRS deception, fear, robbery, and slavery. Okay? And just on our website, freedomlawschool.org. And you've gone through the 5 steps at least, 1 through 5. Step 5, those petitions are extremely important on our First Amendment. Okay? We want to take those before the grand juries. That's right. It's your right, it's your duty to expose these criminals to the grand jurors. I'll call for you next week. It's so exciting. I can't wait to share it with you. But remember, until then, share our website, freedomlawschool.org, with anybody you know out there. Okay? Share the jurypower.org. Okay? I got the articles about judges are not above the law, grand jury power exposed. grand jury power to charge corrupt government criminal officials is a key to restoring honest government. Okay, all these things, read them on our website. Okay, and get them out to everybody you know out there to restore freedom. And I'm going to show you this. Look at this. Bill Clinton, when he was president, he's on YouTube. He was required to testify before the grand jury, and he did. They did by video, but nonetheless, even the sitting president of the United States, Bill Clinton, was not immune. As you know, right now, Donald Trump is right now waiting. He was indicted by the Georgia grand jury, okay? And we'll see where it goes. Probably nowhere, but they did indict him. Federal grand jury indicted him with the federal crimes, by the corrupt, with the Jim Smith, indicted him in Washington, D.C., right? So, New York, they indicted and convicted Trump, indicted him with the grand jury. Okay, no one's above the law. We are turning around on these crooked government officials with indictment power should be forced on to chain them, for them to learn a lesson and do not mess with American people. Okay, right now, James Comey, former head of FBI, he was recently indicted, as you heard on the news, by the federal grand jury. Okay, so this is serious business, folks, and it's serious answer solutions for us to be free. So with that, I give you my love. I invite you to seek the truth, and the truth shall set you free at freedomlawschool.org and jurypower.org. Okay, my friends, let's now get to your questions about this topic or income tax, freedom issues that I can help you. I'm here once every week to help you live free. I envision a live and let live and love and let love world. And I imagine you do too. So we're going to talk about that, how we can put it to use for you. And folks, I invite you collectively to work with each other. You can do it all for free if you want. Go to our website at freedomlawschool.org for free. The first 5 steps to be free of the IRS is free. I want you to all do this free part. Okay? You don't have to pay income tax at all. Income tax does not apply to you, the people of the 50 states. It applies to who? Citizens and residents of Washington, D.C. Now, if you want to take part in our glorious restoration of our republic, like the Founding Fathers envisioned, that someday we may have to do, completely peacefully and lawfully, then you can consider joining our efforts by joining our Restore Freedom Plan, and we protect you while you help us together to have America be a free country once again. In Iran, I had no chances like that. That's why I'm here still. I didn't go back there. I'm putting my stake here in America. Have America be a great country once again. And I hope you consider joining hand with other fellow Americans to make it happen, like George Washington did, Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, James Madison. All these guys got together, and look what we got. The greatest country on earth still, but we'll make it great and free once again. Let's get to your questions right now. And right over here, only one caller from area code 832. But let's call out the number if you have questions. The number to call is 424-552-1299. And you press 1 on your telephone keypad, and I will take your questions one person at a time. Again, the number to call if you have questions is 424-552-1299. Then you press 1 on your telephone keypad. You'll go next after the call from area code 832. So 832 area code caller, please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please. You there, my friend? You're there, area code 832 caller? A little hold on, Lex. Maybe we got a little technical issue we got to fix. Give us a second.
My name is Shelton. I have a question.
Okay, I got. What's your first name?
I called you last week. It was Earl Shelton. I have a question for you.
Yes, Earl. Go ahead.
Actually, I have two. Okay, my question is, to make a video, or maybe you already got it made, what does someone do, like when they want to go and get a job, and they get a job, and they file certain documents, which are the ones they file? What's the process to get a job without doing the 1040 or the 1099 or the W-2? What is the procedure for me to get a job?
Well, it depends on your company you're working for. If your employer to be is educated, knows that he does not have to file income tax for you, you just shake hand on it, come to terms of your work, hours and pay and so forth. You just start working. That's it. But being that most employers are being deceived by the IRS, the corrupt media, and their accountants, CPAs, tax attorneys, who their job is to make them a slave of the IRS, they're going to most likely want you to fill out a W-4 form for you to give permission to your new employer to steal a part of your check voluntarily by forcing you to fill out a W-4 form to give that money to the IRS. And then in January of the following year, he will most likely send a false, fraudulent W-2 form to the IRS claiming falsely that what he paid you was taxable income that you owe income tax on. Okay? That's how it normally happens, although it should not happen that way. It should be the way that I told you first.
Okay. Yeah, just basically I was just, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would like to know the procedure on how to obtain a job under those kind of circumstances and what to do and what not to do. And that's just my main point is understanding that. My second question to you is this. I see you holding up Irwin Schiff's federal, what's the name of that title of that book? It's called The Federal Mafia? Mm-hmm. The Federal Mafia. Well, I've been following Irwin Schiff and Peter Schiff, his son, living in Puerto Rico. And the sad thing is, how did he end up slipping up to go to prison? And he died in prison, in handcuffs.
Because he was ignorant of the laws and procedures. He was a friend of mine. He went to prison back in the late 80s first, and then 1990s a second time, and then back in 2006 again. I met him back in the late 90s, and I became friends with him. He was my elder statesman, but he was a great, interesting guy, charming guy, fun guy to listen to, talk to, have a conversation with. Good guy that really cared about America and the people. But he did not know enough about the corruption of the courts and how to combat it by knowing more about legal procedures and techniques that are critical to you winning a game, just like in basketball. You carry the ball, don't dribble properly, you lose the ball every time. You lose. You got to dribble the ball. Same thing with the courts. There's rules you got to follow. He did not know enough about these enough. That's why he lost. I tried to help him, but he didn't listen to me. In fact, if you go to our website it's on educational, under frequently asked questions, see it on the top center area. If you open that link, I've done a video on the topic of the great Irwin Schiff, what happened to him and why he went to prison and lost. I've done a tribute to Irwin because, after all, he was really the biggest person in American history that stood up against the IRS. Talking about. So you have this video about it right here. Let's see.
I will definitely look up that video. Yeah, I'll definitely look up that video. Mm-hmm. My next question is that the other aide, the black lady from
Sherry Jackson
from the IRS.
Yes.
What was her? What did she do that led up to her mistakes? Unfortunately,
similar to Irwin Schiff, she also rejected my offers to work with her, to educate with her. I was trying to put together I put together back in 1999 a mastermind group of all the top leaders of the tax freedom truth movement. Okay, like Joe Bannister from our special agents. Okay, Sean O'Connor, Steve Hempling, Bill Conklin. Okay, and Irwin Schiff and Larry Beecraft and many others that joined in. And I invite her to come and join us to learn from each other and work together like America's founding fathers did together to restore freedom, right? She rejected that offer and was not interested in working with me. Well, I can take a horse to water, but I can make it drink. She doesn't want my advice or help. She thinks she knows it all. Okay, that's the way it is. Now, unfortunately, that's what happened to Sherry Jackson. Okay?
Well, yeah, thank you, Paymon, for the information. I got one last thing to say. Mm-hmm. I'm working on a guy who pays a check out to the IRS for $1.5 million. Mm-hmm. And if I can get it through for you to go, so it goes through your program, mm-hmm. then of course, I think his name is, I forgot his name, starts with an M, Marv?
Okay.
Mav. Mm-hmm. It's Mav. And I told him about it. If it goes through, then he told me that what would be your cut and my cut.
I do know what can I do for him, being that he's got a pre-existing problem. I'm not a magician. To just erase government debts.
Right. Well, when I get him, I'm gonna hand him over to you, and you talk with him. Mm-hmm. He's gonna have to study some of your videos. Mm-hmm. And but he the last check that he signed over was for 1.5.
Mm-hmm. Well, he needs to be educated about stop signing those 1040 income tax confession trap forms, because by signing those forms, that is where he gets himself in trouble. That is where he says that, hey, he owes the IRS money when you owe the IRS nothing at all to begin with. Okay, that's what he's got to recognize. Because I am not a magician to get him out of signing those forms when they put the rope around their own neck.
I understand. Anyway, I really appreciate you. It's a privilege. I just wish that I would have come across you, back in 1997 or 1996 when you started. I was living in Honolulu at the time, and I remember in 97 I was looking up Johnny Liberty.
I knew Johnny Liberty personally, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there used to be a catalog that came out of Washington State, and I was calling and talked to them because I had to order the new one. I think they were only $5. I can't even remember the name of the catalog, okay? Mm-hmm. But it came out of Washington State. And I talked to the lady, and I said, who do you have over here right now? And she said, Johnny Liberty right now is at Denny's restaurant right across the beach from Kalakaua, or the Waikiki Beach. Mm-hmm. I drove down there and went upstairs, and there he was with a big, giant Coke bottle glasses.
Mm-hmm. You got it, Earl. You got it,
Yeah. So I am your affiliate now. I'm waiting for the flyers to arrive. I'm going to try to hit this as hard as I can. I hope this pulls me out of the financial poverty that I'm in, and I can see some success with you.
Are you the 72-year-old guy that talked to Maverick?
I was the guy that talked to Mav.
You did?
Yes, me.
Okay, I told him to set up to talk to you. Listen, brother, you obviously are a man of truth, of freedom, and power. And I told him he didn't quite explain this to you right, okay? You obviously were a successful businessman. He told me about your great success you had before. And in life, we have ups and downs. But guess what? I told him you still have a heart of a lion, okay? And the wisdom of an owl, okay? And a heart of a dove. So with that, I mean, as far as love goes, okay? In that sense. Yeah. So what you want to do for your benefit is to join our Restore Freedom Plan, okay, with the payment small, because 2,000 is a small membership, our minimum. You can maybe start with $500 as low as that, and then you get immediately bumped up to 50%. So although we give you 25%, I'd be happy to do so, but I don't want to cheat you and not give you more. That's why I'll let you and others join with a small payment plan. And then when you refer others, you get instead of 25%, get double, get 50% referral rewards. That will pay off your membership quicker, and we get cash or crypto in your pocket, my friends, to live free with prosperity and confidence that your life will be good and taken care of in the future while you do the work of truth and freedom that you love and just share it with more people. Go have fun and blow it out and make it happen. All right, Earl. So that's it, brother. Any other question you got?
That's it. I'll let you go to somebody else. I really appreciate you, Paymon. You're great.
Thank you, my friend. I love you, brother, too. Thank you for calling. I appreciate you doing that. Let's go to, we have two more callers right now. First one's from area code 925, and the next one from area code 269. 925 area code caller, please give us your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hi, my name is Karen, and I am a member. I joined Freedom Law School about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to find out if you know about Judicial Watch. You might have heard of Judicial Watch with, I think, Larry Klayman.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I believe, I listen to him every so often, and I believe that they formed some grand juries. And periodically I hear him come on to programs, but it seems like I never hear of what happened after they formed the grand jury. I never hear of, they put so-and-so in jail, or nothing ever happens. I never hear any results.
Well, that's because you misunderstood what he does. None of us can form our own grand jury. Unfortunately, state law in your state prescribes how a grand jury could be organized, and it's done at the county level usually, and the court creates it as a matter of procedure. That's how it's done. The federal government has a similar procedure. So Larry Klayman never created a grand jury at all to do anything with it. So someone gave you wrong information. Judicial Watch, mainly what he does, they do lawsuits based upon the Freedom of Information Act requesting documents from government files that the government officials want to keep secret. And he forces them to open it up for us to see how crooked they are, what they're doing. And Larry Klayman, I know him for over 20 years. He's been retired for many years, and someone else now runs the Judicial Watch. So, any other questions, Karen?
Well, yeah, I guess a couple of easy ones. I've got one, Coinbase is one of the crypto places, as well as another place that I do vacation rentals through. Mm-hmm. They both want me to fill out their so-called tax status forms, and there's no place to put exempt on either one of them. I don't think I can get paid from them otherwise.
Well, that is easy, okay? You go to our website. As always, the answers are someplace on our website. Now, I got to find out exactly where we have that, because it's growing so much. I think we put it on Knowledge Base. Is that where it's at, guys? On the, but I have you're a student, you get it for free. It's included as a Restore Freedom Plan member. For you, it's included. Basically, you fill out whatever they force you on the computer to fill out, okay, as exempt or whatever they want. But then you send the proper form by certified mail to Coinbase or whoever that third party is. Say, look, your stupid computer you cannot argue with forced me into a jacket that doesn't fit me. They force me, I'm round. They put me in a square peg. It doesn't work. So here's a proper form, properly all done. Okay, I'll even that under duress because you insist on a form. It's not a form for me to begin with. So this replaces the computer information you forced me because otherwise you would not even talk to me. Here's a formal record of that. Keep it in your files. That's how you fix that. As a student, as a Restore Freedom Plan member, Karen will help you completely with that process. Do it for you right. You get unlimited consultation, remember? Unlimited help with the IRS or anything related to taxes and employers and third parties, all this stuff, to make sure that you remain free and not a slave anymore.
Okay. So the most important thing is I shouldn't fill any forms out. I should just, I could send them a note and that's it, huh?
Well, no, I didn't say that. They will force you to go through a computer, otherwise they will not do business with you. Or they might steal 30% of your profits, send it to the IRS. Okay?
Oh.
Yeah, if you don't do that, they say, no problem. We just take 30% of your money, we steal it. You're free. Go home now, boy. Go home, girl. We just stole 30% of your money. You don't care about it. Let the IRS keep it. But you say, no. I don't want you stealing my money. Okay? So you have to fill out the form. They force you, unfortunately, because they're accountants, CPAs, tax attorneys, misdirect them to force that form on you on the computer. But by U.S. mail, you correct all that stuff, and that's what will help you as a Restore Freedom Plan member at no additional charge to you. Okay, Karen?
Oh, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thanks for calling, Karen. Okay?
Okay.
So, guys, our Restore Freedom Plan is really one for all for one. It all becomes possible because everyone I'll be joining, it just makes a spoke of a wheel even stronger. The more spokes, the more members, the stronger, more powerful we get. We can put more effort, energy, and money into research and writing all those great solutions to help you live free and work together to restore freedom in America at the same time. So with that, before I go to the 269 area code call, let's go announce the number one more time. If you have a question, call 424-552-1299 and then press 1 on your telephone keypad. 442-552-1299 and then press 1 for your question to get answered. So, 269 area code caller, please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Am I on?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, you're on.
Raymond. Yeah, this is Rebel. R-E-B-E-L. That's my real name. I actually was named that back in '63. I just got really one question for you.
How did you hear about us, Rebel?
Oh, I started following you back on the Tom Cryer case.
Wow, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I first learned about you during the Tom Cryer case, and I followed that to the end.
Okay.
Yeah, so right before his death anyway. I kind of latched onto that, and I've been following you off and on ever since then. But you see, I've been self-employed about since then. so it's been a real journey trying to stay away from the IRS and kick them off my feet. But I just really had a question about the Swiss bank. How do you stay away from what is the safest? What is the safest thing to do about, because twice they had came into my account, took my money, and just, ravaged my account and told me nothing, really. The bank says, well, the government came and took it away. And I'm like, well, who? Well, the IRS, they came and took it away. So then I didn't file a lawsuit against them. I filed a number of lawsuits before, okay? I fought in federal court before back in 2017, 2018. I filed, actually sued 2 law firms, and I sued a number of different companies. I gained $38,000 in these lawsuits by suing them because they actually, I didn't win. They didn't want to take it to trial or anything. They just wanted to settle. And that's usually what an attorney will do is he'll settle before he gets any further into it because whatever statistics he's looking at, I don't know, and I don't really care. As long as I got a solid lawsuit, I'm going to sue them. I'm going to take all the money I can from them. And it's what's real interesting about that is when you do that, none of that is taxable as income, not a dime of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yet the attorneys will try to turn around and 1099 me at the end of the year where you got to,
mm-hmm.
then you got to take action on that because if you let them 1099 you on that money you won from them and took from them in court, then it will become a real entity.
So what's your question?
My question really is,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, my question really is, where can I put my money? Where can I save my money where it's going to be safe at?
Well, in my opinion, simplest, safest way to do it is physical gold or silver or maybe other precious metals in your possession. Number 2, I personally like cryptocurrency. I believe cryptocurrency is the money of the future. I think it's God's blessing for us because man used to do barter. From barter, we went to using precious metals as a store of value. We use other stuff for barter, as well. But coins became the thing. From coin to exchange value and products and services, we went to paper money. From paper money, now we go into electronic money. It's all credit card, MasterCard, Visa, American Express debit cards, and these are paperless money. So God gave us a thing, crypto. Hey, you want to do that? Here, try this. I think crypto's going to go up. As you've seen over the last, month or two, Bitcoin went to over 122,000. Gold now is almost 4,000, and silver is about $47, I think, today. It was a year ago, it was about $30 silver, and gold a year and a half ago was only 2,000. Okay, so I think the way to go is to get those, and it's very low risk. They have some ups and downs, all of them, but so what? Long term, they keep the money. That's what I would do. That's what I recommend.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that information. I watch your show all the time, and I'll probably becoming a member pretty soon because I want to get active. I've got a little more time on my hands now since I'm getting ready to retire. Actually, not retire. I'll never really retire, but I'm getting ready to slow it down just a little bit because I got digital assets that I'm trading, and they're doing really well. So I think that I enjoy your show all the time. I mean, when I listen to it and everything, you always come up with some sort of a model that really is cool. That's it's the only way I know how to express it. Really, it's like you look at the language to where, you look at the language and you dissect the language out of the 16th Amendment, and things of that nature. So, yeah, I will probably be becoming a member pretty soon, and I really encourage you to keep doing what you're doing because you're real good at it.
Thank you. Well, let me just share something else with you, brother, okay? I could tell from the way that you speak, Rebel, you come from the heart and intent. You really care about freedom, which is why we heard about Tom Cryer in 2007, how he won his criminal case. For those of you who don't know, Tom Cryer was a friend of mine. He was a lawyer, an attorney, a good one for close to 30 years. And he stopped filing pay income taxes when he was educated about the topic. And the government came after him, criminally. Several of the charges they dismissed before trial, and the last remaining ones, he was acquitted by the jury. When I first heard about him, I invited him on sight unseen, come to my freedom event in that rally every year, and had him speak, and we'd raise several $1,000s for his defense. Put him in touch with the freedom lawyer, Larry Beecroft, to help defend him. He won his case. Unfortunately, he was in very bad health. Did not live more than a few years after that anyways. So you've been involved in this with this quest for freedom. Rebel, you're not a real rebel in that sense of rebelliousness. But you are a rebel against crooks and criminals and thieves. So am I. So are the other listeners. So I'm suggesting to you that you're 63. Guess what? I'll be 63 also, coming up later this week as well. And so the way I see my life is I live a pretty comfortable life. I can admit it. After all these decades of hard work, using my brain and my everything I got, I eat what I want to eat. I don't go hungry. I eat good food, okay? And so I got a family. So I'm going to be gone, who knows, maybe 20, 30, 40 years from now. I'll live most of my life already, right? So I want to do something good for myself, my children, and my grandchildren who will come after me, who are there. And I believe you got your same thing. No, doesn't do any good for all that money. Just give it to our kids when we die. Let's leave them freedom, as well as leave something, what we go. And, so let's get together, brother. Make it no probably. Just do it. You're going to feel good about being the modern day founding father of America that you really are at heart. Put it in action, and you're going to say, let's go. Let's make it happen, folks. And that's why I'm inviting every one of you. You don't have to join our Restore Freedom Plan. Some of you are really poor. You can keep it. Go ahead, keep it. 100% you need it. Inflation is hurting people.
Right.
But if you in your heart, you're doing better than okay at least, or you believe in our quest for freedom, let's get together, folks. Time is short, and we're getting close to getting these crooks IRS has been unable to stop me for over 30 years. Okay, and they're desperate. That's why they have me on the criminal investigation for over 30 years continuously. Okay, because they don't know what else to do. Okay, and by you guys joining together, it's going to be even harder and harder and harder for them to stop our peaceful restoration of America. Unlike you, I don't plan to retire.
That's why the IRS is going after.
I will not retire. I'm going to just maybe slow down as I get older and teach more and guide more versus doing it myself. But let's get together, Rebel. It'd be nice to meet you one of these days also, brother, okay? Look forward to seeing you someday very
absolutely.
soon.
Yeah.
Okay?
Are you still out in California?
No, I left that communist republic 11 years ago. No, 12 years ago, I think.
It's a bad state to be in.
Huh?
Yeah. Where are you at now?
I'm in Florida, Brooksville, in Tampa, Florida area.
Great, yeah.
And where do you live?
Yeah. Michigan right now. I'm looking for land in Florida. Once I find some, I'm just going to, I don't know if I'll sell this place or not, but I'm going to move to Florida and join you.
Let's do it.
And help you all I can, actually, because, I've got a lot of federal court experience. So I won't say a lot because I had maybe 6 or 7 cases that, I'm not going to sue them unless I know I'm going to win, really, because it could cost you an enormous amount of money if you lose.
Right.
But, I'm only going to cherry pick my cases with them because when the attorneys don't know actually what the law is. They preach this stuff, and I've seen them do it many times to other people that are around me. They preach this stuff as though they know the law, and they actually violate your rights, federally violate your rights as they're going into your case. So, and that's where I catch them at most of the time, under violations that are worth $1,500 and $2,000, and I stack the violations on them. And, when we get to court, the judge wants to talk to me, and he says, well, what do you want to do? And I tell him I want the maximum amount of money that I can get out of him, and he tells me, and then we start from there anyway, and it goes down. So, but I ended up with a little over $30,000 at one time, and twice, and it was a pretty good feeling. But when they came back at me to 1099 me on that, I was kind of laughed at the same time, but at the same time you got to take care of the paperwork too. But I'd love to get with you. Come
on down. Come on to Brooksville, Florida, Tampa area. I like Central Florida. Yeah, that's where you want to be.
Yeah, I used to work out in Florida. I used to work in Tampa and Plant City out there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep. Yeah, I appreciate you.
You're welcome. I appreciate it, Rebel. Thanks for calling, my friend. We got
Thank
two
you.
more callers right now waiting to get the question asked. The first one is from area code 305 and followed by area code 559 caller. 305 area code caller, give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hi there, Payman. This is Kai. Heard about Freedom Law School earlier this year on YouTube during tax time. So here's my question. I guess I'm understanding in so many ways that we are not subject to paying federal income taxes if we are not residents of the District of Columbia. But tell me this, why are we subject to Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security taxes? I really want to understand how that's possible.
You're not subject to those things at all. You're not subject to Medicare or Social Security taxes either. You're not. Okay, and if you want to see that on the screen, I'll show you. If you go to our step 1, you see I put our new brochure up there called Restore Freedom Booklet. Okay, so I'll put it up for you in front of you guys. Okay, you see that? If you go in the brochure, you see that inside of it there's a page, okay, it has chapter 21, Federal Insurance Contributions Act, Section 3121E. And it says, for the purposes of this chapter, the United States includes Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Guam, and American Samoa. If you want from one of those places, Medicare and Social Security is written for you. If you're not, it's not for you. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I need to go and read up more on that because the federal taxes are outside of, other contributions to, retirement accounts and things like that. Those are always the biggest deductions for my paycheck. And I've just always wondered about this system of Social Security and Medicare. I'm not against it, but I'm finding that the system is also bankrupt, and many people will not get to benefit from it, from Social Security, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So.
No, it's not bankrupt. It's corrupt. There is no such thing as a Social Security Trust Fund. They never put any of your money away for your retirement. It was all a lie. They spend your money. They took out your paycheck by force or deception, by your employer's participation. They spent it down the federal rat hole of corruption, fraud, and crime. It was spent decades ago. There's nothing there in the phony Social Security Trust Fund that the lying media has told you for decades. Okay?
Man. Oh, thank you, Paymon, because this is just blowing my mind. Because, in your Social Security statements, they at the very, very end, they love telling you, basically, there's no guarantee this money is going to be here by the time you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Every single statement.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me.
Mm-hmm.
That explains it. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Yeah, Roosevelt lied to American people. The corrupt Franklin Delano Roosevelt is age of the banksters. Okay? And he told Americans all these lies about, Social Security, safety net. No, it was about turning America into socialist nation, slaves of the international bankers. That's what he was doing. So what's new on for? And he got into World War II completely unnecessarily. He campaigned on the campaign promise of never getting America to a second world war. He promised that to American people. Yet behind the scenes, he was scheming any way he could to get us into the World War II, which had America stayed out of it, we have ended so much sooner, okay? And we have saved, so many gazillion, millions of lives would have been saved. But no, Roosevelt, unfortunately, did a lot of terrible things for America and the world. Okay, let's go now to the call from area code 559. Please give me your first name, how you heard about us, and then your question, please.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, this is Richard. This is my second time calling. So my question is about state tax. So I'm in California, unfortunately. So this is the last year I filed for taxes. So my question is, how do you go about filing state tax for next year? How would I go about doing that? Because from my understanding, I have to file that because it's so corrupt over here. So what is the way I can do that? Because I know I don't have to file federal, but state, apparently I still have to file.
It's simple. You fill out the federal form 1040, but you do not sign it, nor do you send it to the IRS. You take the number from the form, 1040 form, then enter it into the California Form 540. You finish filling out the calculations on California 540 form, and you send that by U.S. mail to the California Franchise Tax Board. And you do not include that 1040 federal form that you used to calculate the number to put on the California 540 form. Very simple.
Okay. So just send it by snail mail directly to those corrupt people over there in Sacramento.
Yep. Until you can get out of that communist regime, that's what you can do in the meanwhile.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's really beautiful out here, and I love it out here. So it's something, I got to deal with because I want to be here. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I understand the sacrifice you have to make. You want some things, don't like other stuff, but you're free of the IRS. That's the good news. Focus on that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Answer my question.
My pleasure to help you, Richard. Okay. I'm going to go to questions by people send us paperwork to review. I can review any question you have, up to 10 pages of documents for free at no charge. Just make sure you send it to us by email, fax, or U.S. mail, and call us. Make sure we get it. Make sure our people know that's for the Freedom House. They can print it, put it in front of me to go over with you, okay? So I'm happy to help you all get your questions answered on paper, and then we go to online questions that may be there. Meanwhile, if you have a question, you can still call. The number to call is area code 424-552-1299. Then press 1 on your keypad. 424-552-1299. Then press 1 on your keypad. But we always take our live questions first before we go to paper documents and the questions online. In fact, we have a new caller just joined us from area code 812. So 812 area code caller, give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please. Are you there? Call from area code 812. Do you push the button? It's not on. On my screen, it's not on. Here we go. All right, go to announce yourself, my friend. 812 area code caller, are you there? Do you hear me? Nope, looks like he doesn't hear me. So he stepped away. So we're going to go to questions right here. I have an email from, from a Gary. Okay, and Gary says, the reason they want me to release info is because they have wind of me getting income from clinical trials and not declaring it since I went on Social Security. Okay, what is here is authorization for Social Security Administration to obtain personal information about Gary. And there's a letter, October 2024, from the Social Security Administration Supplemental Security Income, which is very hard to read because it's a picture and poorly taken picture. It's hard to read. Okay? And I can hardly read half this letter. They said they need more information to decide if they can that can continue to pay you Social Security. Therefore, it is important that you do the following: sign, date, enclosed, return the forms used by this. Look, I'm not a specialty, and I will not become a specialist on how to use government money to get government money. I disagree with Social Security as a matter of principle. Yeah, I really do. It's socialism, and I'm not a socialist. I don't encourage socialism. And I think you all are capable and able to stand on your feet and make your money not dependent upon governments. All you older people on Social Security, you got a way to go. You see, easy. Get out there in the sunshine. In front of the supermarkets, Whole Foods Market, wherever in the area, Sprouts, and take our brochures with you. It's called Restore Freedom Brochure or Fast Track Your Success. Lawfully and safely pay no income tax and payroll taxes. Legally and safely guarantee. Okay? Follow the law. Regain your power and freedom. Okay? Stop. Stop giving your money to swamp. The content inside is the same. They both are free. We'll mail you as many as you want. Go out there, have fun. okay, in front of supermarkets and say, restore freedom, stop paying income taxes, legally and safely. That's all you got to do. Stop income taxes legally and safely. Just go talk to people. People will, many of them, walk by, look at you with rolling their eyes, look at you suspiciously, But guess what? You found about Freedom Law School. You were open-minded. You were interested in more information when you heard about this stuff. And you are not the last person open-minded and interested. There are people like you out there looking for you to reach out to them, love them, and give them exposure to the truth. So we'll send this stuff to you and go pass them out. So Gary, don't worry about this little cheese crumbs, breadcrumbs of Social Security stuff, Go out there. I don't care if you're on your wheels or in person. Go have fun, smile. Okay, be positive in sunshine and talk to people. And on the back, put your name and phone number or a private 7-digit number we'll give you so that when they join, they put your name and number or your number we give you, and we'll pay you cash in the mail or crypto. Okay? But thanking you for going out there on your own, standing on your own feet, like a man, like a woman, and not dependent upon government. Support yourself independently and make a lot more than the breadcrumbs of government handouts like Social Security. That's the American way, isn't it? Not the communist way of Cuba and Venezuela. All right, so do that, brother. I think you'll be much, much happier with yourself, and your life will be so much more and better for you. Okay? Any questions online we got, guys? Any see anybody? Let's see who we got. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Which one is it? Okay. Haven't filed 1040 in 4 or 5 years. But the state of Wisconsin, even though not filed with them, has sent me bills and garnishing me for about a year. Don't you know how to fight? Call for help. Well, unfortunately, Wisconsin is one of the worst, most aggressive states when it comes to state income tax. Perhaps only second to only California's aggressiveness and lawlessness. They make up numbers. They really do. And they come after you. So, unfortunately, you didn't come to me early enough. I may have been able to help you because when they first come after you, they always, by law, have to give you a tax proposal in writing that you can challenge. And if you challenge them, they cannot take your stuff. They would not be garnishing your wages because you're challenging them. As you challenge them, you go up to higher levels, you still cannot take your money. You may win, you may lose, but meanwhile you will be free. But at this stage, because you didn't challenge them, unfortunately you lose by default. There's nothing I can do. The only way you can possibly help is find out how much they claim you owe them, and then probably overdid your taxes, on the state taxes. By filing a state tax return with Wisconsin, you may be able to lower the amount and pay them off sooner, perhaps. That's the only thing potentially I can help you with, my friend. I wish I could help you with more than that, but I'm not a magician. I'm just telling you the truth, how it is, and what I can do for you. Okay? Another question we have online, guys? Okay? Another person asks, do you have any comment on the IT developments that Palantir is working on for the IRS? The IT team is not even on the furlough list related to the shutdown, so they can keep working. Palantir, good luck. IRS still runs on 1960s antiquated COBOL assembly language systems. Yep. The kind of stuff that supposedly sent man to the moon, which they never did, by the way, right? That's why we never been back to the moon, because they never were in the moon. Your personal computer has more power than the fastest computers of 1960s, where they supposedly took us to the moon. Right? They took us to the moon back then, but not since, in over 50 years. Something's wrong with this picture, isn't it? It's called lies. Anyhow, so these systems are so antiquated and so disjointed and so screwed up over the decades that they're beyond repair, beyond updating, without risking complete system-wide failure, which is why if you go to our website, to 7 Steps to Free Yourself of the IRS, on step 3, you go in there, I talk about this issue in detail, how IRS is based upon bluff and deception. The media makes a Wizard of Oz out of them, okay, to scare you. So if you go there, one of the things I talk about in detail is the IRS. Computers are antiquated. They cannot update them, okay? In fact, in 2023, the Government Accounting Office reported that the IRS recently suspended operations essential to replacing the 60-year-old individual master file, or IMF. Accordingly, the 2030 target completion date for replacing the IMF, the brains of the IRS computers that the IRS announced last year, is now unknown. Unknown. They said 7 years from now we're going to have it fixed. Then they said, even that 7-day date, we don't know. It's not realistic. We're going to say the date is unknown. They've tried since 1980s to fix their broken systems, and they have not been able to do that. What keeps the system in place is employers forcing their employees to fill out a W-4 form, take money out of your paycheck to the IRS. Now you have to file a 1040 to get some of that money back. Without the employers doing that, the system will collapse, which is why I urge you, if you're an employer, stop stealing from your employees' paycheck. We have an employer freedom plan to protect you 100%, all your employees, and you're 100% protected. Don't listen to that ignorant accountancy tax attorney that's telling you that he knows the law, but he doesn't know about the law. Nothing. Your company and the employees and you will be so much more prosperous if you stop stealing the money from your employees' paycheck. No income tax withholding. No more FICA out of the paycheck of the employees. No any FICA matching by you, So that's what keeps the system going, my friends. So let's get on with it and stop supporting the corrupt system. All right? Okay, we're going to go to area code 812 Carl one more time. Let's do that. Before we go, also try the area code 510 caller. Another one got added. So 812 area code caller, give me a first name. I heard about Freedom Law School. And then your question. Can you get him live? He's working. Are you there?
Yes. Hi, Payman. My name's Dawn. Multiple caller. I referred friends that are members. I have not signed up. I don't have a lot of income, and I'm older. I found you late in life. I'm 60. I just
what do you mean you're older in life? I'm 62. I'm not that. I'm older than you. What do you mean older?
Well, I know, but I'm probably not in the same financial position as you. But anyway, I found you late in life. Let's put it that way. So I followed the 7 steps myself, and so I just filed. I'm in Wisconsin too. So I just filed my Wisconsin tax, but this is why I called. I heard you talking about the California guy, and you said not to send in the federal copy, but Wisconsin requires it when you assemble your tax return just to include your federal. So I printed out a copy of what I, what I filled out, but I didn't sign the federal. I just included it with the state when I submitted it. Is that a wrong step?
Well, if they're that adamant about your federal tax return, then instead send them our petitions. Okay? Send our petition and say, Here, see attached. You filed a zero return with the state of Wisconsin. Had attached a federal. This is my federal return. Okay, I owe no income tax. I don't have to file. And I asked my congressman, I have the federal income tax owing, so I'm sending it to you as part of my federal income. So it's zero to Wisconsin also. Do that.
Well, I already mailed my Wisconsin with a copy of. Well, I was told I should file my Wisconsin, but not my federal. So I didn't file federal. I just sent in my Wisconsin, though, with what I figured my tax would be for. I figured I did my federal like I would normally in the past, and then used that number on my state. But like I said, when they asked me to, when you go to assemble the state for federal, your state income tax, it requires you to send a copy or attach a copy of your federal.
Right. I
so
heard
now,
that. Yeah.
did I just mess myself up?
Well, no, not really, but I would do that next year, because you should not, you didn't file anything with the IRS. So why send that with the state, but you didn't file anything with the IRS? You send that federal form unsigned, that'll be okay, as long as you don't sign it, but you did what you did. Dawn, what do you do for a living?
I work at a retirement home.
Okay. You're not that old. You don't sound that old.
I'm 60.
You're younger than me.
And I don't, after a terrible divorce, I really don't have anything to retire on, so I'm probably going to be working the rest of my life to survive and pay my mortgage and everything. So,
Dawn, you said you referred several people to us that have joined. That's what you said, correct?
Yes, I did refer some friends who joined.
Well, then listen.
So, but
you'd have paid off your membership had you joined first, okay? And you at $2,000 minimum because you sound like low income, fine. $2,000 minimum, $500 down payment, okay, no problem. Smallest down payment. These memberships would have paid off. Even my small membership would have paid you $2,000. Your membership paid off and put cash in your pocket already. Why don't you not join then? And to actually be ahead, be protected, and make money in your pocket. And what's keeping you for doing this common sense thing now? You're obviously an intelligent lady that people listen to.
Maybe they're them signing up probably would have paid for part of mine, but actually maybe all of it, but not for future years. I don't know. Long story. I don't think I could have afforded even the $2,000 a year.
Hold on, you're correct about that. How many people have you referred to us that joined? Give me a number: 2, 5, 10. How many?
Well, just one that I know of for sure. I don't know if anybody else has joined. They seemed very excited about it, but I don't know if they've joined.
Okay.
Friends of family that live around the country. I never followed up with them.
You can call and find out from us if they join. You can call them and follow up with them. You love them, but do a little follow up with them. Okay. But listen, the membership is $2,000 minimum. If you would have joined with $500, if their membership was only $2,000, you get $1,000 anyhow toward your membership. $500 left. If the membership was, for example, $4,000, the $2,000 of your half would have paid off your membership and put $500 in your pocket. Do you know how big that person's membership was? The one that you referred to us?
I think he said he paid $6,000.
You had $3,000. Half that $1,500 would pay off your membership. The other $1,500 would have been yours. The $500 you put in, initially, would you get back, and another $1,000 on top of that. Okay, Dawn, believe in yourself as much as I believe in you. You've done it. You have. You know more people like that. And you're in a good position. Listen, people generally listen to someone older more because on the average, older people are more wiser, knowledgeable than younger people. Have fun. Go reach out and love someone. And love yourself. Bless yourself. Any other questions, Dawn?
not at this time. Unless if I do get on board, would you all? I don't know how. Again, I'm from Wisconsin. How would I do my state tax next year then?
You, like I said, do not attach a federal, or if you do want to do that, attach a petition, put 0 on there. Or attach a federal return with, because your federal return is 0. You've done your petitions. Send the petitions with it. Let them refute that you're wrong. By the way, Don, let me suggest that you escape the communist Wisconsin. Come down to Central Florida.
I know. I can't. I wish I could, but I really can't.
Wait a minute. Why can't you? There's jobs begging here in Florida to take care of these people in the 80s and 90s. Someone in the 50s, 60s like you is perfect. You can they'll arrange for you to come down. You apply online. I bet you they'll make arrangements to get you down here. They pay you for you to come down here, or make an arrangement to get you down here because they need help badly. There's a shortage of working age people. So don't lie to yourself.
Well, I'm never going to get a mortgage at the rate I have, and my house is not. I can't find something like this in Florida for a price I can afford. So I trust me, I've looked.
I'm not so sure about that. How much is your house worth, and how much you own it? How much square foot do you have?
Well, I bought it in 2021 for $225. I owe $202 on it, and it's worth $340.
Okay. And you said how much you on it?
Crazy, yeah.
How much you on it?
204.
What interest rate? 3%?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guess what? You can take your equity and buy a place out here for $200,000 or less. Yep.
Where?
In Brooksville area, where I live.
Brookfield. Where's that?
North of Tampa area. North of
Tampa. Okay.
You own a home, or is it a home or an apartment?
It's a home on 2 acres.
Okay. So look around. There's opportunities. Before you say no, check it out. Okay?
Okay.
So go look in Hernando County or Citrus County. They're very affordable, both of them. Hernando County and Citrus County. You got a lot of your equity in your house is the biggest thing you got. Take that equity, you pay a little bit more in interest perhaps, that's fine, but you have a lot less owed to begin with.
You said Citrus County, and what was the first one?
Hernando.
Oh.
I live in Hernando County.
Hernando, okay. Hernando.
Okay? So don't despair, lady. There are solutions out there. Just gotta check them out some more. All right?
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, Don. Thank you for calling. We have another call from California, area code 510. Stuck in Oakland, California area, maybe, right? Well, you're live, my friend. Give me your first name. I heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hey, Payman, it's Charles again from California. Of course, I've heard about you through several places, but I think the last one I remember was Flyover Conservative. And I got a real quick, easy one for you. I already sent out the petition letters to all two senators and one representative. But I just discovered that one of the representative is actually pretty close. There's an office there that the person seems to occupy quite a bit, and I could walk in. Do you recommend you take some of those letters and walk in and discuss it with the representative?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
You know what? I did this thing. I went to my Senator Rick Scott, had the daytime business assistants help you out. From Tampa, they come to Brooksville or Spring Hill. So we went there, a couple of my people, and talked to them. And they say, oh, well, that's not our thing. We'll contact with the policy person. So they didn't contact me. So I told my people, follow up, call them. What the heck, what is this? They work for us. Well, you don't ignore the people. We're going to follow up with those guys. And you're here, you're wasting my time coming to see you, and you blow us away? Go see them. Absolutely. We need to see these guys say, you go work for us. Okay? And bring accountability to the government. Taxation with representation, not taxation without representation. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, I just kind of feel like I wanted to hide behind those petition letters, because they're already registered. So I feel like I was exposing myself if I did that. But
no, you're not exposing yourself to nothing. You're not. They don't keep lists. These legislators, they just focus on getting reelected. Half these congressmen's time is spent on raising money for the next election. That's right. Not pay attention to you, unfortunately. So no, you'll be fine. Go for it. All right?
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome, Charles. Thank you for calling. All right, let's put the number on the screen one more time. Any questions online, guys, let me know. Okay? The number to call is 424-552-1299. Then press 1 on your keypad if you have a question. Again, the number is 424-552-1299 and press 1 on your keypad if you have a question. All right? No call online. Which one, guys, do we have? Oh, Rick, okay. We, the people, need to end all income and capital gain taxes and real estate taxes and double-digit usury interest rates. Well, yeah. Stop giving your hard-earned money to your enemies. The federal government's practically your enemy. Look, Trump is trying to rein in his enemy, but he's trying. He has had limited success. He cannot do it all alone. He needs your help, your participation. By you defunding the swamp, take your support away from the federal government and the IRS that you've been voluntarily giving it to them. Stop income tax withholding from your paycheck for free on our website at freedomlawschool.org. Go down the right, go down, the third thing comes up, free yourself from tax withholding, okay, income tax withholding. All right? Stop the money being stolen from your employer to send to the IRS on income taxes and stop filing. It's that simple. You can all do it. All right? Okay, we have another question. Which one, guys, do we have? All right. Would a constitutional convention be the best for our nation to restore a truly representative republic? Absolutely no, Rick. A constitutional republic cannot be in any way restrained. The people that are for it, they say it can, but it cannot be done. And it will be controlled by the big money-powered people that corrupted are simple. They're going to spend money to get people in there that are of their mind to take our rights and our freedoms away. No. The system is not broken because of the Constitution or Bill of Rights or the Declaration of Independence. They're not missing anything. What's missing is us being educated. Okay? That's the problem. We're ignorant. With ignorance, we cannot take action. With knowledge, we can take action. We can get grand juries when we get on there. Go after the government officials. Don't listen to the U.S. attorney trying to go after some innocent person for small stuff. Go after corrupt government officials like the DOJ officials, the crooks, okay, the corrupt judges, okay, all corrupt officials out there. So that's the problem. We got to educate ourselves, and that will solve the problem. We can take action with knowledge and win. That's why I haven't paid income tax or filed for over 30 years. Not even $1. IRS knows me. They try to put me in jail. They never even indicted me because they can't. They know there's no law requiring you or me in the 50 states to file income tax. They know if they put me in a jury trial, they will lose and give me a much bigger platform, be much more successful. So they don't. They don't even indict me. Okay, and I got it laid out for you easily to stop being a slave, stop filing income tax. So all we gotta do is just plug it in, turnkey. All right, let's do that. All right, everybody. Any last questions on there online or no? All right, everybody. Thank you very much for being with me. Hope you enjoyed the little different topic on grand juries. This month later, I'll do another one on grand juries. Probably maybe not next week, but maybe after October 15th. So meanwhile, educate yourself on jurypower.org about grand juries and about income tax freedom, defunding the swamp, how to be successful in business, fund your own life, fund your own family, fight inflation, have savings. Go to freedomlawschool.org and drive around, and as you drive around, listen to audio of the videos on our website, okay? And then our brochures that I told you guys, you can download them or share the link to them, the brochures we got. Send them to your friends, okay? Send them by texting, okay? Or social media. Post them anywhere. And let's together have you be free, have America be free at the same time. I'll be back with you next Tuesday night again.